At least so far, I found that some films are currently sold out, but at least the ones I'm probably gonna get are probably not gonna be sold out. So we'll I mean, I've been checking that throughout the day, and like so far, some of them have been all sold. So, well, then we will go mill into the sale. Let's which film's gonna get? So it's now past 9 p.m. in my area, and we're actually now midway through the sale, with about 11 hours and around like maybe like 35 minutes left of the sale probably left. Which actually the sale began just about half like 12 hours ago, and will end tomorrow at 9 a.m. in my area. And over here we have the page where you go to find out like for the sale, and you find out like which films are available, plus suggestions of films that you could possibly get. And this is where they kind of root like the recommendations by like categories. But apparently, when I was looking through this like the recommendations, some of them have probably the same films because maybe a lot of them have like common themes. But apparently, well, it's kind of showing that maybe they're not promoting a lot of the films they have in the collection, which now is past at least 1,000. So I mean, I just gotta to the back repeat because the timer is just moving. It should be changed a bit in actual quick. Oh, so yeah, so I'm gonna go back to me and let's go through the sale, which as of right now would be midnight time, which is usually means time for midnight films. And of course, since Halloween, we're probably gonna have a lot of midnight screens of Halloween films, especially for the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which for this year is celebrating its 50th anniversary, and there's apparently a new 4K remaster of it. They might show that new remaster in theaters, but I've seen parts of that film, but apparently that will be an interesting film when I see it for the first time. I mean, also has Tim Curry in it. It's probably going to be a very fun film. At least, yeah. Okay, so let's go through this recommendations there. It's usually they usually have from like every flash sale when they do, but at least yeah. So they have first Repo Man, Eraserhead, which was David Lynch's first film, but they also did their usual like recommendations of the films of Eraserhead, and also recommendations of one of my favorite directors, Wes Anderson, which we'll get to probably as we go through these recommendations, including the section specifically on his films, of course, but those with the release of the recent box set that has all of his films up to it's like the French Dispatch, the Wes Anderson Archive, which I could get that if I want to get all the films in 4K, but apparently, I mean, like, I was gonna get, well, probably gonna try to get all of them like by themselves and have most of those films. Just have a few to get. Yeah, then we have the Blue Velvet, which is you could say one of David Lynch's like straightforward films, and I actually saw the cinematographer of that film, Frederick Ames, at the International Film Festival this year. Apparently, like, when I asked him like how they filmed the scene in the film with the candy-colored clown they called the Sandman, he told me it was like very weird, even though the scene was kind of mind-blowing. It's actually great, at least, yeah. John Waters' Flink Flamingos, which is gonna be interesting to watch. Oh yes, Sallow, which is a film that Bill Hader likes, and that was one of his films he chose in his Criterion in the Criterion Closet picks. So the film that began the zombie films with George Romero's Night of the Living Dead, also in 4K. Nice. There's a Videodrome, which one of David Cronenberg's famous films. The Sideshow Shockers box set, which has the rare folk classic Freaks. And we have more John Waters with Female Trouble. David Cronenberg with Scanners. Oh yeah, House, the film by Nobuhiko Kobayashi. That's like a film that caused them him to be like getting famous outside of Japan. Of course, recently re-released some of his films, one of the films he did for Katakawa Pictures, apparently, this year, including, the first adaptation of The Girl Who Left Through Time, which, it does have some of the unusual thing you would see in a film made by Nobuhiko Kobayashi, but maybe is not as extreme as, let's say, in House, where it kind of, well, it kind of still has a bit that, like, Jean-Luc Godard style of editing in that film, at least. But there's the original film, like, Valley of the Dolls, Brenda to Kill. Oh, the Seijun Suzuki film that talks about, like, a guy that is, like, an assassin and is also, kind of turns him on when he smells rice. And films about New York, which, oh yeah, that's what the recommendation that was in the past hour, which including, like the, part of the, let's say, the Paranoid trilogy with, like, Flute, and, like, Jane Fonda and the late Donald Sutherland. There's also the, oh yeah, there's, Do the Right Thing, which is probably, like, one of the greatest films that are made. Actually, this is something I could possibly get, because unless they're going to release 4K of this, which, I mean, of course, you have Spike Lee's recent film, his version of, I mean, like, it's like, I mean, like, the US version of, like, Akira Kurosawa's High and Low with Highest to Lowest, which you can watch right now on Apple TV+. But you have to watch that, although the bull says that 824 might do a Blu-ray of that, so, yeah, that's it does have a lot of, like, very special features with it, so I'll probably consider that film. Add that to the cart. Looks fun from so far. It's like Francis Ha was like the first film that Noah Baumbach did with Greta Gerwig. And apparently, Noah Baumbach has a new film actually being released. Well, later this year with Jay Kelly as George Clooney, and apparently somehow he co with Emily Mortimer. I'm not sure if she's in the film too, but I mean, I need to see her in a writing role. Writing on a film, but apparently, I was gonna say, yeah, that would be an interesting film about, like, an actor who's probably kind of going downhill, and you got, like, Uncut Gems, which is a film by, like, the Safety Brothers that apparently, a lot of people are talking about as, like, a film that is kind of very uncomfortable, and, like, in the case of, like, things going out of control, I mean, that kind of also happens, let's say, in the second half of Anora, and also, the film that got the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival this year was just an accident, and then apparently one review on Letterboxd apparently described the film that has Rose Byrne in it, like, if I had legs that kick you, as Uncut Gems from others. I mean, it's one I could possibly. I'll add that to the car. We'll look back later. Two films that take place in New York so far: Do the Right Thing and Uncut Gems. Let's see. Oh, and Jim Jarmusch's Stranger Than Paradise, one of his early films, which almost takes place in New York City as well. And also, apparently, he has a new film being released later in this, like, this year in December, with Father, Mother, Sister, Brother, which also Frederick Adams did a bit of the cinematography on the film. He actually did the cinematography in one of the segments in it. But apparently, for the rest of the segments in the film, apparently they did another cinematographer, and apparently that will probably be available on Mubi. That means they'll probably show it at the VIF Center in our area, probably at least. Oh, there's the jazz film Round Midnight, directed by Bertrand Tavernier, starring Dexter Gordon, which, I mean, for a jazz fan, that's probably an essential film you could probably watch. Oh yeah, Midnight Cowboy, the first film that is rated R, or at the time when the film was released, rated X, to get Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Apparently, like, Elizabeth Taylor presented that award the year it got, it got the award. Apparently, it has, like, Dustin Hoffman and Jon Voight playing two gay guys in New York City. Like, the theme song by Harry Nilsson, Everybody's Talking Now. Although the there was an alternative song they could have used at the beginning of the film, which I guess the Lord Must Be in New York City, which would later be like put in like in films like the Canadian film Weirdos, and recently the film also written by Canadian Materialists. That one scene when Dakota Johnson and and Peter Pascal's characters appearing like wake up in the morning. So I mean, like great use of the song in those scenes. A few more Scorsese films, including like The Age of Innocence, which might get a 4K possibly in the future since it was in one of the classics box sets. As well as some of the short films he made, where it also does have a special feature where he's apparently interviewed by the Safety Brothers. There's one of what Stillman's famous films, Metropolitan. The Jonathan Demme film Something Wild. A box set containing 3 films have Andre Gregory and Wallace Shawn, including My Dinner with Andre. Tootsie? Fun film if fun to see. Sid and Nancy, which has that famous scene in the alleyway that apparently was like referenced in a Valentine's Day episode of The Simpsons. And then the Harold Lloyd film Speedy, which I could probably watch at some point. Okay, let's go through the rest of here are the new releases. Which I know for sure we're getting the Criterion editions of the 2 new Wes Anderson films. But for the Wes Anderson archive box set at the sale will cost about $100.97 for like the cost of a Wii back in the day. We know for sure we're getting the individual release of the 2 recent Criterion editions of his films have released, which also the Criterion edition of David Cronenberg's A History of Violence apparently is sold out for the 4K at least. So I'll just add Isle of Dogs to the box set. Also, there's the French Dispatch, which that one. Then we have there's the film that was Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, which has recently remastered in 4K. Although the master on the previous Blu-ray release apparently was from a 4K master approved by David Lynch. So I watched that Blu-ray already, so I may need to get that. It still looks great on the Blu-ray at least. So for sure we're gonna get. French Dispatch. Put that one. No, $94.88. Let's keep on going. There's Flow, which I actually got recently during the sale, the 4K sale they did last month. There's the film that inspired Highest to Lowest, High and Low, which I watched, and actually it's a great film. Probably excited to see the US version, which by Spike Lee. Well, there's the 2 films by Edward Yang, which there's Confusion and Mahjong. I'll probably watch that at some point, but I'll probably see some of his more famous films like E! And A Bright Summer's Day. So you can count on me, directed by Ken Logan, and has Mark Ruffalo and Laura Linney, which found that one of the special features in this edition of the film apparently has an interview with the 2 main people in it. So it's about siblings that lose their parents in a car crash and then having their own problems, and then they kind of take care of each other. I think, which let's see what the special features on the. It does have new interviews with the people in it. Plus Matthew Broderick, but other than that, nothing much. I could. I'll watch this eventually at some point. Mike Nichols' Carnal Knowledge, which it's a highly anticipated film to see. Oh, there's the 4K edition of Barry Lyndon, which watch that, but I'm gonna just get that. Watch that at some point. And there's more family films. Guillermo del Toro's version of Pinocchio, which I said that one was great. I mean, even though it got a bit religious at times, but I mean, oh yeah, and Christoph Waltz is also in this playing Geppetto, which actually he's in Guillermo del Toro's version of Frankenstein, which I actually saw last week, and also surprisingly on film because the Viv Center was showing the film in film because maybe the film was filmed on film, and maybe like Guillermo del Toro, del Toro probably like the film presented on film, which is kind of unusual for a film that is released by Netflix. So there's kind of like, I mean, like, although in the Geppetto in this one, apparently he's kind of depict him as an alcoholic. After, well, his son, who apparently then his soul might have been transferred to Pinocchio, possibly. I mean, Pinocchio is probably similar to that, his son, which apparently was armed in a bomb, and apparently during World War One, I think. There's the there's the there's a continuation of The Wiz, which that's something I like to see, although it doesn't have a lot of special features, so probably at some point. There's The Breakfast Club, which has a 4K, though I have the Blu-ray already, which I think that uses the master on the previous Blu-ray was from a 4K master, I think. So it has that. Oh, there's the Fantastic Mr. Fox, which very fun film, and like this is like Wes Anderson doing a Roald Dahl story, but kind of having like his style probably being put into the into the story apparently, and also apparently one of the producers of the film, which actually kind of worked on with some of his recent films, Jeremy Dawson, apparently he was at the International Film Festival this year, and like I saw him I saw him, and apparently I also found out that he had a role in the film where he plays the son of Mr. Beaver, which kind of noticed that when they showed the scene where he shows up, and then it's like, yeah, that was him in that scene. Oh yeah. Good Morning, which this film has a lot of fart jokes in, and then there's one of the people in it doing like the silent treatment, and then. But if you kind of want to show like a world cinema film to the kids, you could probably show this. I mean, like it's like probably like you're sure it's like Yasuhiro Ozu doing a comedy, which you kind of he kind of did it with like his early years, but then most of his career he does a lot of dramas, and mainly family dramas involving like generation conflict, which he kind of makes the same film, at least for most of his films. But I mean, it also has the same people that are in like many of his films. It does have also the poetry, and also like of the editing of how like when a scene ends it would cut to something and then it would go back to what was happening for me. And it also has those famous like first person shots where like it's like you're kind of in the conversation, and it's kind of like this, Well, there's like the Hard Day's Night, which is follows the Beatles when they like perform on a show during their peak, and very fun film. I mean, there's also the Richard Lester's version of the Three Musketeers, which apparently they released the remake, which is in French. There's one of Michael Powell and Rick Pressburger's films talking about life and death, the matter of life and death, which is one of those films I kind of want to see too after seeing the documentary about Michael Powell and Rick Pressburger with Made in England. They also have like Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times, which is like kind of like a film about like about technology and like and how complex it is. Kind of like something that would like Jacques Tati would do in like most of his films. But I mean, and also that was like his last silent film before then he would eventually do sound films, beginning with The Great Dictator, which another great film with a famous ending too. Then we have like Petite Maman, which is made by the same person that made Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which is one of the greatest films of the 21st century so far, written by Celine Sciamma. And that's another film I probably would see at some point. And it's kind of interesting, but it's kind of maybe one of the common themes of her films, at least. There's the 4K re-release of The Princess Bride, which I have the Blu-ray of. I've yet to watch that. Oh yeah, the Criterion of Wall-E, I mean, which was like the first Disney film to actually be put in collection. But in this case, it's a Pixar film, which it might be kind of like made possible by the director of the film, Andrew Stanton, which it kind of might have predicted like today, kind of the sense of like about how taking care of the planet, and also how technology can possibly make you lazy, at least. But I mean, at least you touch grass, and then you could probably we have films in the 1980s. We have like a tradition of Risky Business, which doesn't include the director's cut of the film. It has the famous scene where like Tom Cruise's character really dances in his underwear, which I'd say I could probably watch at some point. There's Broadcast News, wondered by James L. Brooks, starring the late William Hurt. Oh yeah, Holly Hunter and Albert Brooks. The French Lieutenant's Woman, that one's a film which kind of like combines reality and fantasy. This you would see the beginning of the film where we thought we were watching a historical piece, where we're actually seeing them making a historical film, kind of. It's actually, it kind of works out, actually, because if you connect the stories of like what happens in the making of the film, and then the story that is in the film that they're kind of making. Another John Waters film, Polyester. There's one of Jim Jarmusch's famous film, Down by Law. That has like Tom Waits and Roberto Benigni. This is like before he made Life is Beautiful, which will later get Best International feature at the Academy Awards in the 1990s, and where he does when the film got that award apparently in the year that it was nominated, apparently. So then Roberto like tries to like go through the audience through the chairs and to go into the hall. Then we have like Mishima, Life in 4 Chapters, which is the biopic about the film directors from Mishima, directed by Paul Schrader, which that would be kind of interesting film. I mean, like to see next month. A Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, which the famous Nagi Oshima film starring like Takeshi Kitano, David Bowie, and also Ryuichi Sakamoto from Yellow Magic Orchestra. I mean, but he could also be in like Bernardo Bertolucci's The Last Emperor too, which he also did the score. I mean, he did the score on both films actually, and like apparently the theme song "Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence" was apparently was kind of like sampled in one recent pop song actually kind of recently, which is hardly a common thing in, let's say, with songs. And even they might have also sampled it in the Nogizaka 46 song "No One Dreams Twice." So the first few minutes of it, and it's like I like to see the entire thing eventually. Barbat's Feast, that's a film going for. I like to see that. Then here's the films by Kira Kurosawa, which I kind of want to see Dreams. But I mean, like, I'll add that to the card eventually. But like, the Yojimbo Sanjuro, which is the film that inspired the Dollars trilogy, which I'm actually going to be seeing those in the theater actually some of the next few weeks. But I'll probably have Dreams because Ikuro, which I finally saw last week, and I mean, that was a great film, even though the last section of the film, like I'm not gonna say what happens, but I mean they could have switched it around at least, but I mean, at least most of the film is like the main person like it's kind of like doing like a lot of the things he do on his bucket list before he passed away, which kind of similar to the film Last Holiday. But there's also the British version, which apparently I'm probably gonna watch after seeing this. Rashomon. I mean, First, that's a famous film that talks about, which kind of like one of those, which kind of had the idea of like presenting a film in different perspectives. And I mean, like, I don't want to see. Yeah, I mean, I could probably, but I mean, also Throne of Blood. I apparently saw that one recently in the theaters, which is like Akira Kurosawa's version of Macbeth, and it kind of might be like one of the early uses of ASMR, where like one of the people in the film actually had to be very quiet and before like the witches come in, and apparently has the famous scene where like the main person in the film apparently gets hit by a lot of errors, and even like so with the new 4K remaster of this film, apparently they kind of make the trees are actually moving, like if they're moving like in Lord of the Rings, which. I mean, one person said that this is probably like his favorite adaptation of Macbeth. I mean, there's other adaptations of it too. That's probably the best one of them. Shaft, under Collini's I Remember Omnicord. Oh, Night Moves starring the late Gene Hackman. A film that's about like the most of the Rolling Stones Give Me Shelter. I was starting to see like some of the same films being in the same recommendations with like films with cats, where there's Low and House. Even Incredible Shrinking Man. I wouldn't say Llewyn Davis, but it does have a cat in it. Oh yeah, Grey Gardens also has a cat in it too. Isle of Dogs. I mean, there were a few cats in that film. I think. Classic Hollywood film, including like the original version of Mildred Pierce. Oh, Double Indemnity. This is one film I could possibly see. I mean, for noir films, probably most. Although Citizen Kane, another one I kind of want to see. That's one of the greatest films of all time. But I'll add those two rules about a bit. 154. 174. But I know for sure we're not going to get all of them because it's much of it. Ace in the Hole, the waterfront classic. On the Waterfront, another classic film like is there. Frank Capra doing a Halloween film with arsenic and old lace. Some Like It Hot. Dazed and Confused, I mean, that's another film I kind of like to see too, but I mean, the Blu-ray might have the same. Oh, actually, the Blu-ray has an HD master. Well, this for the 4K version has a new 4K master, which the 4K master is actually not on the Blu-ray. Which, I mean, like, I would watch this at some point at least, but at least there, yeah. The Quadrophenia, the film that involves an album made by The Who, which is kind of you probably know The Who is actually going to be ending soon. Apparently, I think they're about to do their last concert here apparently in the next few weeks, but I mean they're probably gonna do the last concert somewhere in England probably next year, which but there's a lot of great songs in it too, and apparently Sting's also in it too. In the acting world, at least. Oh, Dogfight, I mean that's what I had to watch. Oh, the Virgin Suicides, I mean interesting film, I'll probably watch it at some point. Oh, Ghost World? I'll watch that at some point as well. A film that involves the Beatles when they're on the Ed Sullivan Show. I Want to Hold Your Hand, which I'll eventually watch that at some point. Eventually, A Brighter Summer Day. That's I'll watch eventually. Films by female filmmaker. Which Certain Woman, which written by Kelly Reiner, which actually has also a film being released this year. And will also be on a movie with The Mastermind, which pretty much is a heist film. It has like Josh O'Connor. It's also got Hines Elena Hyman in it as well too. I mean, she was also one down for another two recently. But not a lot in that one, but I mean, kind of has a more predominant role in The Mastermind, which kind of with the recent heist that apparently happened at the Louvre, it's kind of great timing. And maybe Josh O'Connor might get Best Actor for that film probably at the Academy Awards next year, possibly at least. Like the others too, probably getting me more too, though. You think? Oh, and this one apparently has like Laura Dern, Kristen Stewart, Michelle Williams, and Lily Gadstone in an early role before she was in Was It the Flower Moon. There's Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which until acting box, including the greatest film of all time according to Sight and Sound. So right now, Jane Dealman. Both People by Anne Hui, which I feel like probably would could have watched before. She was actually in Vancouver apparently a few weeks ago, kind of talking about her work, and it's kind of very busy. But I mean, of course, she's a very famous director in Hong Kong as well too. I mean, there's also Wong Kar Wai, well, and John Woo, and there's the 4K release of Breathless, which is kind of the subject of one of Richard Linklater's recent films. I mean, which is it might have been released already in France, but it yet to be released here. Although the other film he released this year, Blue Moon, apparently was just recently some limited release. But I mean, apparently, of course, like apparently, like Nouvelle Vague apparently kind of presented the was presented in like the style of the film when they also like filmed and used equipment with how they made the film, and the great Criterion edition, which kind of goes to like the making of the film as well as also its historical significance in the case of, let's say, how like the French New Wave went mainstream, and actually with the though for the 4K remastered, maybe we're saying that the films it might be a bit darker than when past releases. I mean, at least it could be more detailed. But I mean, but it's a great edition if you kind of want to do that. Well, they still have the dual format edition of Spencer Trolls, Jules and Jim. There's Pierre Le Fou, which the film is pretty much like a guy and he kind of meets this woman and they're trying to like write a screenplay, but that also involves them doing the actual acts that kind of happen in that screenplay, which does involve murder, which though at times it got a bit racist at one point, but I mean, at least it got the point of the film at least. Oh, Masculine and Feminine, which is a film that kind of involves like Karl Marx and Coca-Cola, and also a kind of film that one of the films that probably inspired Alfonso Cuarón to make Your Mother too. There's the 400 Blows, which actually there's a new 4K remaster version included in the Adventures of Antoine Joannel box set, which we'll get to when we get to the box sets recommendations. There's the documentary of David Bowie, Moon Age Daydream, a film that John Waters likes, The Girl Can Help It. Oh, Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which get to watch that a Criterion edition of it, which I actually have, and interesting film too, at least. Oh, the documentary talks about Bob Dylan, Don't Look Back, which follows like Bob Dylan when he's like in London before he would go electric. But you also kind of see in the film about him, A Complete Unknown, which real great film. I mean, Timothy Chalamet should have got Best Actor for that film, but and the cameras for that film, but they'll go into Adrian Brody for The Brutalists. Though I mean, they should probably still go to Timothy because apparently they use AI to make Laszlo have an authentic Hungarian accent. The Rose, Big Chill. There's the director of Proof, which was like the film that got Best Picture came with Sierra Nora, which is a jam-packed edition with a lot of features that kind of go into the making of the film, which of course had a low budget, and apparently, although some people were saying that the film might have been overhyped, and although I was not sure I was happy with the ending of it, but I mean, at least it was a fun experience seeing the especially during the second half of the film. Or The Battle of Algiers, which apparently is like a film that apparently Steven Soderbergh might have kind of remade with Traffic, but the film was also sort of seen in Paul Thomas Anderson's recent film, One Battle After Another, when the main person apparently is like watching the film until the events of the film eventually happens. Malcolm X, that's one of Spike Lee's famous films, which like the biopic on Malcolm X, and also has that theme song. And with the group, the Flavor Flav was like, "Vote the power." Actually, I would probably could possibly get I'll add that to the cart. We almost there having to. It's the Raging Bull, Medium Cool. The game, which is probably going to get a 4K. Another version of their film. And it scenes in one take. Slacker. Picks from the closet. And here's the Wes Anderson films. Almost all of them except Criterion Limited and Bottle Rock, which those two will probably yet to have 4K re-releases, since they're the 4K re-releases are versions of those films are apparently on the Wes Anderson box set. I mean, I could wait until those are released, but I mean, I can always get them now on Blu-ray. I mean, especially that they're Jane Limited and this, you know. Maybe I'll add that and we'll eventually, let's see. And then scary movies. And then for Halloween. Peeping Tom made by like Michael Powell after like kind of like end of his relationship with Emmerich Pressburger. And basically he's also in it too. And while the film is a cult classic, at the time the film was released, it was very controversial because even though they actually don't show the violence in it, they kind of show it off screen. But I mean, actually, maybe for the standards at the time, was probably very graphic, in a sense. Although you kind of get the idea why the main person does the murders, but I mean, like, I also learned about that when I was more information about the film when I saw like Made in England. I mean, I'll eventually watch that at some point. Oh yeah, there's Hans Lambert, which is also in the Guillermo del Toro trilogy box set, which, I mean, that's something I would probably recommend if you kind of want to, see the films that Guillermo del Toro made, kind of really with the Spanish Civil War. And also they're kind of connected, which is what I've heard. I mean, although with the individual films, I mean, Chronos got a 4K release, Devil's Backwoman got a 4K release, and Hans Lambert is yet to get a 4K release, which that will eventually happen at some point, possibly. But yeah, Eyes Without a Face, which kind of is like inspired the Pedro Almodovar film, The Skin I Live in, I think. But then something that happens in this film is kind of similar to something that happened in the new Silent Hill game, Silent Hill F. But I'm not gonna. That's what I'm probably gonna say about that. Here's some of the best sellers, which let's see. Oh yeah, No Country for Old Men, which that one was another highly anticipated film that people want to see in 4K, and actually found out that the 4K master of this actually is kind of shows things you probably haven't seen before in the film. I also got Best Picture in the year it was nominated, so I'm gonna add that to the card. We might get that too. Oh, Brazil, which also got re-released in 4K, but apparently as of right now, I saw the director's cut of the film, but it says they also have the U.S. version, which is, I mean, the ending of the director's cut could say is kind of the happy ending, but I mean, there is like an entirely happy ending in the U.S. version, while in the European version, which may not be included in this release, it was for sure an unhappy ending, which let's see the special features on the 4K release of Brazil. Oh, those has Robert De Niro too. With the director's. Oh yeah, some of the making of the film. Yeah, it has both cuts. You know, I'm gonna add that to the cards and that later. Oh, I did, yeah. Oh, I forgot my lights on. Return edition of Parasite, which includes the film in black and white, which is kind of watch too. There's Chungking Express, which is probably getting the Wong Kar Wai box set. well, now David Lynch's last film, Inland Empire, which, although it's a very complex film, but I surprisingly understood it. There's Memories of Murder, which I actually got, I think, yeah, in the previous sale, actually. For this year. Screen Doctor Strangelove, which, great film, kind of relevant today with what's happening with the Trump administration. Trainspotting, which for the 4K version, it apparently has like probably the regular packaging compared to when it was first released, which had that unusual packaging. Oh, here are the box sets. There's the Will of Wong Kar Wai, which is about $99.97. Then there's also the Antoine Doinel set, which is $62.47. I mean, I'm just gonna see how much newspaper features are in the Road of Wong Kar Wai set. And I did like In the Mood for Love, and I kind of want to see the sequel to Chilling 46, but also watch his other famous film, Chungking Express. The set looks like kind of complex. Let's see. Oh, it has a show where Wong Kar Wai apparently answers questions from various filmmakers, including filmmakers that were inspired by him, like Sofia Coppola. Also, Barry Jenkins was apparently a lot of archival interviews from the film soundtrack. So it just has one new program talking about his films, but apparently the rest of it is mainly archival stuff, although it somehow doesn't include the recently released, follow-up to In the Mood for Love, In the Mood for Love 2001, which was actually never before released until now, which kind of adds closure to the film, but I mean, I kind of want to see how that will kind of work with, let's say, with the sequel, Children 46, which just has the new program. Special for it just kind of gives you an idea of the box set. On the 4K individual release of In the Mood for Love is probably the same as the one on the box set. Okay, I did put them in. Okay, so I know we got some for sure, but some we might have to cut out. Interest of now, I mean, I'll probably watch that at some point. The Before trilogy, that's a kind of like another box I would recommend if you kind of want to see one of like the films that Richard Linklater made, which involved his main theme, of course, was his time. I mean, let's say with his two recent films, Nouvelle Vague and Blue Moon, where Nouvelle Vague takes place over a period of a month, while in Blue Moon it takes place over a period of like an evening. Well, the Godzilla box set, which has all of the other from the Showa series, you can actually watch these films on the Criterion channel, actually, which good. And then there's the Bruce Lee box set, the Police Story films, almost all except the third one, which has Michelle Yeoh in it. The complete Lady Snowblood, which actually inspired Quentin Tarantino to make Kill Bill. Yeah, and the Ingmar Bergman set, the John Cassavetes set. Oh, the Jatad T set, that's another set I would recommend if you kind of want to learn about him, and also like this take on like technology, and apparently how his films apparently inspired various direct film directors, including both Wes Anderson and David Lynch. Now, if you want to learn more about the person that invented the French New Wave, there's the Brandes Barda box set, which has all the films and short films from it, plus the documentary she did, and the last film she did, which is the documentary on her, Varda by Agnes. Oh, the electronic heroic trio and executioners. That's the Apu trilogy, the Federico Fellini box set, the American Lost Film, the BBS story box set. Oh, the Zeitu Hichi box set, which followed by his Elimination production. Oh, the Elimination box set, and then the Copsy trilogy. I mean, yeah, that has, especially with the first film, Life Out of Balance, or Kayan is Katsi, which it has like a score, or like by like Philip Glass, and especially the score of the film is mind blowing when it gets to this section near the end of the film where they have like the things, the time lapse of the footage of the city, which is great. And there's all the 4K discs, which probably look as much of them already. There's the recent Godzilla film they released, which you get to watch. Oh yeah, Blowout. The Red De Palma, that's a good to watch. Oh yeah, The Red Shoes, one film that Guillermo del Toro actually likes. Great Valley film too as well. Days of Heaven, which has a typical thing you would see in a film made by like Terrence Malick, although it's interesting to watch at least. So beautifully shot too. Oh yeah, Perfect Days, which film about a guy who has like passions, but apparently he's at the same time he's work cleaning toilets in Tokyo. And then related with Fluminense, there's the 4K of Paris, Texas. Well, you have to watch that one too. Then I think that's the last one they did all the David Lynch, including one of the greatest films of all time, Mulholland Drive, which that one for sure is like one of the top like greatest films in the century so far. This is the girl. It's a documentary about him, the art life, which where he kind of tells like his story and like how he would tell it, and then yeah, that's probably all the films that they recommend at least. But I think they might have added another series of recommendations. Let's look at that right now. They had a new section. Oh yeah, they had documentaries. Okay, so they have like Ryuichi Sakamoto's Opus, like the last concert he did before he passed away, which I mean it was a great concert film, even though he kind of struggled during parts of it, but at least he was able to go through all of that. But his son apparently later then make the film Happy End, which is yet to be released, at least in our area at least. But he also made a short film mostly around the same time too. I mean, it's you have to watch those, see those. Oh yeah, Showa, the miniseries about the Holocaust, so that's sold out. A documentary about Stephen Hawking, A Brief History of Time, by Errol Morris. The making of the soundtrack of Company. See how they made the soundtrack of a musical. You can just see that too. Or the history of the Newport Folk Festival, which was the main kind of focus issue in A Complete Unknown. And Bob Dylan, Land Electric. There's the documentary of Michael Moore, Bowling for Columbine, which some of us yet to see. Oh yeah, Pina. I mean that's a movie a documentary I kind of like. I mean, it's a documentary that I like, which it kind of presents like Pina Bausch's story through her work with the dances, and it has the things you would expect from a film by Wim Wenders. I mean, he does the same thing with, let's say, the documentary he made recently, Aslam, where instead of dance and the focus, he kind of focuses on a painter, and then also an artist too, kind of sense too, at least. And originally was going to follow Pina, but then she passed away while they were making it, so then led to what the documentary is. Well, Visions of Aid, which is actually included in the Olympics box set. That one costs a lot, though. It's all the little recommendations they have right now, so let's go to our cart and let's see what films we're probably going to get in this sale. I mean, unless there's other titles I probably could get too, I mean, but at least I probably got all the titles I could possibly think we could possibly get, so let's go to the cart. And we're almost about 11 hours, 10 hours into the sale's done, so let's go to this 12 items, and for sure we're going to get 3 of them, the Wes Anderson films and the Wong Kar Wai set, but I mean, let's see if we can trim it down to, I mean, Do the Right Thing, I kind of like. Dreams can, at some point. Maybe Double and Dandy, I can watch that at some point. Okay, Citizen Kane. Probably a bit more, though. Malcolm X? Maybe I'll leave that in. Darjeeling Limited? I mean, I can wait for that one because they may release that in 4. Okay, we're now at 8. Um, No Country for Old Men. That's one I just want to get to. Brazil, I mean, but it's on most of the on that, so that one. We're now at 7. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's. I thought I had more than that, but oh yeah, because I have the coupons. So I have to trim one. Yeah, gems. We'll watch that another time. Let's see. Is it $100? Did I buy? Oh, did I had 2 of the same now? Okay, maybe Malcolm X. Or maybe watch that another time. Yeah. 194. Oh wait a minute. Yeah, later time at least. Let's see. We're now at 169. Really? Possibly, maybe more than expected. They're all in stock still, but I mean, that's all good. Yeah, maybe we'll let these 4 titles depend on my coupons. So now we're probably gonna look through the coupons, see how much we got. If still a little leftover money, then we'll probably get at least one more title at least. So I'll just switch to back to me for a while I actually look at my coupons. Which I think I have at least like $100 in coupons, and of course some are about to expire, so I have to use them now. Oh yeah, and I was thinking also getting there's Mississippi Masala, which I could get that too possibly. So far we have the 2 new Wes Anderson films and the Wong Kar Wai box set, but I mean, trying to think about which. These are actually all the. These are the films we're actually gonna get. Pretty much what I was probably gonna get. And I could add. Right thing, but I mean, they might be releasing a 4K of that eventually. Yeah, okay, so yes, we will get all these films. Are actually pretty much the things I'm actually gonna get. We got the 2 new Wes Anderson films with Isle of Dogs and the French Dispatch, as well as the World of Wong Kar Wai box set. And that would, well, minus the shipping, that would come to about $64. So I mean, it's actually not bad actually. But this, so with yeah, I mean, like, so the wall was a bit long trying to like go through what films to possibly get in the sale. But I mean, like, although we were probably more quicker trying to actually like get. So like which films to get to sale, which. But I mean, at least there was a lot of films I could have got. But I mean, some of them might eventually get 4K, and some will eventually. I mean, I could probably watch at a later date at least. But yeah, I mean, and also apparently I also used all the coupons I now have because since now they put the expire dates on the coupons. But I mean, like, so now for future sale, they'll probably have to like use the coupons immediately. But I mean, but at least it was like still fun going around like which films you could possibly get at the Criterion flash sale. But I mean, we're probably going to do more of these eventually, probably in the future. But if you enjoyed me going through the recurrent Criterion class, so you could probably like this video, also subscribe to my channel, or probably talk more about film and things with the Criterion collection. With that, I'll see you later. Bye, everyone.